Welcome to a short and maybe messy bonus episode of
RyCanTopMyKnee.
Okay. We got a lot to talk about with this show. So let's get into it. But first, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jonathan.
And don't we have a lot to say about love in the big city?
We do. This episode was driving me crazy.
Oh my gosh. Let's get into it.
But first, spoiler.
Yes.
Warning.
We got a lot of spoilers. We got a spoiler. So if you have not watched the show, go ahead and get on TVing, TVing. I don't know how to say it, but whatever it is. Or Viki.
TVing
yes,
or Viki.
Get into it. If you don't have either one, find it. So
you find it and watch it because the show's worth it.
It is,
and we'll
totally
say this every
worth
week
it.
that
Totally
the show's worth it.
So where do we start? Let's get to where
we have to start right when we left off.
There was a big cliffhanger.
From the last week's cliffhanger.
And Mia had that positive pregnancy test.
Which is crazy for a first episode.
And she doesn't know who the daddy is. And we were going to be playing Maury. That's what we were going to be doing.
Oh, yes. We were talking about Steve Wilkos and Maury.
And I guess she decided not to go that route. And because it was between the tattoo guy and the DJ. And
yeah, and that's kind of awkward to go to each of them and be like, hey, I don't know if you're the daddy or not, but you want to give me some money or you want to, like, I don't know, step up for this kid?
Yeah.
And she didn't want the kid regardless.
Right. So she decided to go to a clinic and do an abortion. Mm-hmm. But the first clinic she went to...
Yo, this man, like, was reading her down. Like,
yeah, I'm like, excuse you. Like, you're not doing nothing. And I'm glad she stole that uterus out of there right away. Not
that
a
little
real one.
Uterus model.
Uterus model, just for clarity.
Not a real one.
She ran out with somebody's uterus. Like, that would be crazy. Just running down the streets.
Her first one was going to a man.
Right.
I was like, why'd she get a man? Oh my God, he's gonna berate her already on being a hoe.
Right. And it's like, sir, and I could tell there was something like pretty... Just the fact that some of the letters were missing from the outside of that place. I was like, girl, this place either they're going to be using a hanger to pull it out.
Stop.
Or I was like,
I don't think they even do it there. I mean, she thought they did.
Yeah, it was one of those places
like
which they have some of those here in the U.S. And I'm going to take a little side note because we already know that abortion access is more at risk now in the U.S. than it's ever been. And there are places in the U.S. where they pose as abortion clinics, but really there are fronts from, and it's from evangelical churches to convince women not to get abortions.
That's what this felt like. He was just being like, wow, that's a life.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you? Like, why are you being a hoe?
Yeah.
That man in the waiting room is not the dad. Like, even worse, a third man.
Right. So slut shaming, and it's like, no, that's not cute. Like, get out of there. But luckily, the nurse was a real one, because when she ran out with that
the nurse was a girl's girl.
Right. And she said, like, look, I know where you can go to get this done. Like, I heard what he said. Let me help you out. And she's like, okay, let's change numbers. I can get you a drink. I don't think she got her a drink, but
no,
at least
she got no
offered.
money.
Yeah,
she didn't even have money to pay for this.
Right.
Goyon had to front the bill for this abortion.
Yeah, so Young went ahead and said, okay, I can pay in 3 installments. Here we go. And I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that was able to work out for her. She had the 2 weeks of trauma from the aftermath.
I mean, that's kind of traumatic. So
yeah, I mean, it's emotionally
draining, physically draining too. You feel like sick because you're dying inside, really.
Right, and I don't think people really understand that abortions are never like easy decisions, you know. And I do feel as if in the show that it seems as if like the decision was pretty rapid, but in reality, more than likely she was debating back and forth. That's why they were talking it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those kind of decisions are not something that just happens. But also, I think something I should bring for context. It is heavily, heavily. Oh gosh, now I forgot the word.
What?
But it is something that is heavily frowned
Mm-hmm.
upon in Korea to be pregnant outside of wedlock.
Even though it
So
probably still
abortion
happens all the
access,
time.
it still happens all the time,
Uh,
but abortion access is actually widely available in Korea.
mm,
Yeah, because no one wants to have that burden, and that's the way it's seen, unless you're
mm-hmm.
married. And then if you're married, then it doesn't matter. You can have as many as you
Oh.
want. So that's just the
Mm.
context, even though
Even though the birth rate is
just
declining,
like in the
but
US, people are not, right. Just like in the US, people, for the same reasons in the US, like a lot of people in our age group are not having kids. It's the same reasons there. It's just even more
I
severe
see.
there than here. The work culture, all of
Yeah.
that. So,
But yeah, anywho,
anywho.
she had to deal with the trauma of that afterwards and the repercussions of her actions. But she was already ready to start drinking and
Hmm.
smoking again after 2 weeks, which is wild. But
Yeah, and I'm like, girl, you need
yeah,
to at
like
least
this
slow
boy's
your
like
roll. Like, clearly, that too much drinking is what got you into the
literally. We
situation
never saw
in the
that
first
tattoo artist
place.
or that DJ ever again.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and she didn't need to see either one of them again, but she decided to switch things around a little
mm-mm.
bit, you know.
But you know who we did see again?
But before she did that, yeah, before she made that decision, because Young was going to go get that soju,
I can't. I would love this. I
Namju.
was like, he's really gonna be like a reoccurring
The
character. He's gonna be this sad, lonely boy in the background, being like,
yeah,
"Love me." This college kid that got away.
yeah, and the way I screamed when he showed up drunk with marinated
Mm-hmm.
crab and all that stuff, I was like,
I was like, it's
sir,
probably like two
what are you
a.m. What are you
doing?
doing? What are
Like,
you doing?
yeah, it's like, I cannot believe that you just chilling out there.
Waiting for him to
Like,
show
oh
up. He
my
said he was
gosh.
waiting out there for 2 hours just in
And
case. He didn't know exactly where he lived.
right.
Mess.
Wow. He just had, and you know what? Young had to
I
let
felt
him
bad
have it and
though. He
say,
was harsh.
you know what? You're doing too much. I low key
Like he
felt
was doing
bad,
too much.
but also at the same time, it's like, you need to let it
Sending
go.
all those messages, all those like those I don't know, those quotes to him,
Hmm.
those poetry quotes, all that
Hmm.
on top of like stalking you in the streets. I don't
Right.
know.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And I screamed. I screamed at the way this man was crying.
I know. What's his real name? What's his Kwan Hyuk?
Yes.
I was like, he's acting down here. I
Yeah.
like it.
I
I was like,
mean,
he's showing some range here compared to
hmm,
the new employee,
yes.
where he's
You,
just like a boss man. I don't think he was crying that hard in that show,
no, in
right?
that show, he was also supposed to be like extra serious and like this stiff boss. But
Yeah,
in this one, he's a big softy. He's someone with a
he
really big heart who's
is
ready to pour everything into a relationship and
everything. I was
clearly
like,
was
you should
doing
get
that,
back with him.
Yeah, and it's sad because he was just as fine as he is crazy. Like,
hmm
it's
He
like,
was like, let me
see,
just meet up with you every once in a while. I just need to like wean off of you, so I
it's
can
like, no,
take the
then you're not
breakup.
gonna wean off.
He
Like,
said, boy,
this is
bye.
not,
Like you
yeah,
suffocating.
yeah, he acting as if he being breastfed. Like, you wean off of getting breastfed, okay? This is not something you wean off of,
He
okay?
said that
So,
Bucci cat too.
he never tried the Bucci
That's
cat.
what
They
I'm
never laid
saying.
down together. Like,
I'm
he just
saying
want to
I feel
try
like if
it.
they did, they would have showed it, but I don't think they ever did. That's why I
I
feel
don't
like
think
they,
they
they
ever
probably
did.
dated for
I
like a
don't
month.
think Namq ever did anything with anybody, to be honest.
Oh, you think he a virgin?
Yes.
Nah, he probably. I don't know. He probably got down with
No.
someone.
No, he didn't.
He's
Because if he
yeah,
got
true.
down with someone, he wouldn't be
Then he would have
chasing
been
after
hung
this
up
man like
over that
that.
man. Yeah, true.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so that hole is tight.
Oh,
And, yeah,
oh my
nothing's been in
god.
there. He hadn't been in anybody, and that's it.
Oh my
So,
god.
only thing that thing has been in is his hand.
Oh,
and that's it. So,
Anyways,
anyway,
anyways.
um, so they get serious, as in Mie and Young get serious, not together, but in
In
school.
school, I was like, exactly.
Um,
You guys are college students. All you're doing is drinking and fucking and like, what is this? Where are we
right, and
going?
clearly it's not been working out for
Mm-hmm.
y'all. Like, it's not doing what it needs to do. And so they're looking for jobs and all of that. And Mie gets some job where she has to leave a bit to get trained.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
understand. I was like, is this like a? Are they still in college? Is she like leaving college? Is this like a summer job? I don't understand. Is this like
Well,
an
I think
internship?
remember,
Like, are there programs like that?
I think Mie is a little older than
Oh,
him.
and
I
they were
think like
just
by a
in the
year,
same
right?
class, kind of thing, maybe for that one
Yeah,
course.
because I think she was a senior compared to him. So she
Oh,
might have been, I got the impression that she was in her last year and he was in his second to the last year or something like that.
maybe.
Or
I
he
feel like
was
he was a
like in a
baby. Yeah, I feel like he was
sophomore or
like a freshman
something.
or a sophomore. Yeah, and maybe she was older.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel as if she was a little older. So, she was probably looking for like a job, okay? Like not just a little training, but like she's trying to make the
I mean, yeah, I
money.
was like, is she about to
Okay.
drop out of school to go to this job? Like, is that how serious it is? Or
I think she was graduating soon, and I think she probably is still doing, I don't know, but maybe we'll find out in the next
yeah, yeah, yeah.
episode. But she comes back
Already a
with
new
a
man.
man, a new man. I was
I was
like,
like, everything
girl,
you've gone through this year, if you don't keep it together.
right? And it's this guy Junho who don't look like a
Ooh.
hoe. By the way, he don't look like
You
a
look like a
hoe.
basic man.
He seems very
Mm-hmm.
professional. He seems like he has shmoney.
He seemed very
Um,
posh and very
mm-hmm.
360 from her. So it was a weird
Yeah.
coupling right there.
Yeah, and you could tell she even changed her look. Like she got that bob
She
bobbin,
did like a 360 and Young like
Yeah.
noticed he was already clocking her like, who's this man? Why are you with him? The dick is average. What is going
Mm-hmm.
on? Like,
Right. And they hadn't even she hadn't even like
yes.
done all the way with him yet. And I'm like, girl.
I
So
think she's just getting her life together. She's trying to leave the whole life behind.
right. Like she's trying to and that's okay. Sometimes the whole phase fizzles out. And that's
She
okay.
said, "I'm
And sometimes
yeah."
the whole phase comes
Oh
back.
my.
Yeah, but Young is, of course, at home, lonely, eating by himself.
At first,
Um,
like when she like invites them out to dinner, she's like, "Oh, come meet my friend," and they all eat dinner together. I was
mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, is Young about to sleep with this man?" I was like, "He better not. He better not." For a second,
Oh, low
I thought
key, I
so.
kind of thought that.
Right when he was
I
talking
also
to her at the
thought,
dinner, I was like, "Is he flirting with him?" No, don't steal her man.
no, that's straight Korean man
I don't
talk,
know. You never know.
literally.
He was a little, curious. That's what I
No,
thought.
because the way he was talking, I was like, no, that sounds like typical
I
straight
don't know.
Korean
He
man.
was.
Yeah, you look different than I thought. You look pretty handsome. So do
He said
you.
you look taller
Trust me.
than I thought you did. And he said you
Yeah.
better looking
Yeah,
than
no, that's,
Mie described.
yeah. So see, and that sounds like that, because Korean guys are, straight ones, are not mum about expressing how another guy
Mm,
looks. If they're gonna say, "Oh, you look handsome," they're gonna say, "You're a handsome guy." Like, and that's a very normal thing. Like, it doesn't mean, "Oh, I'm flirting with you." It means I'm stating a fact. And if you're not handsome, you're like,
oh,
"Well, you could do better." Like this plastic surgery.
well, I thought he was about to steal her man for a second, or I thought he was gonna be like, "Oh, I've done it
Well,
with this
low
man
key
before."
though, what I was low key hoping
He's
for
gonna be like,
though
"I've seen
was
you on the
like,
apps."
because I like mess. Yeah, I would have. Yes, I was hoping like, oh, I've seen him on the app. I
Right?
saw
I
him
thought it was
at the
gonna be something like that,
club
but
the
no,
other
no, no,
night.
no. He's just like a normal,
No, no,
like, kind of very straight,
very.
average
He's an
man.
average rich
Yeah.
straight man, the kind that you see in a
Yeah, yeah,
typical
yeah, yeah,
Korean
yeah. And
drama.
maybe that's why
Yes.
she's going for him. She wants that like normalcy after everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then one day, we know Junho confronts Mie. She coming out of some thing with coworkers or
Yeah, she's
whatever,
still in this program.
and
Yeah.
he confronts her with some rumors from a friend back in college. First of all, the people in this university are so damn messy.
I was like, why does
Like,
everyone know everything about them?
and why
Like,
is everybody
like,
gossiping? Like, y'all got way too many people
yeah.
in that school. You should be focused on studying.
Yeah, I
instead
was
of
like,
what somebody else is doing.
how did everyone know that they were like rooming together? And I
Right.
guess that they thought they were together because they were like,
Right.
oh, they're rooming. He's not gay. I guess they're together
I don't
and
think
they're
it. Well, the
fucking.
thing is,
And
I don't think anyone was thinking he's gay. That's
yeah,
what I
so
think it
they
is.
thought they were just like, yeah, long term relationship wise. So I was like,
Right.
how long has it been? Like
And then
years going by.
it's been
But
I have to say it had to have been maybe a year or two,
I think it has
But
been, yeah, a year because they were living together for a year. I think, yeah.
right. But these people are so messy. They love to fill in the blanks without asking questions. Like they in people's business.
I
Like
was like, these
honestly,
people
these
need a
people
gaydar because you see
they need a
young.
no, they need a job. That's what they need because what they're doing is what jobless people do.
Ooh,
Okay.
and that's
Like
what a
get into other
university
people's
student is,
business.
a jobless
Right. Very jobless.
jobless
So go
person.
get a part-time job, go get an internship. You need to do something because whatever you're doing right now you into people's business. Like or they should do what we do. Get a podcast and get
Oh,
into BL business, okay? Like
yes.
then you can gossip about stuff in a BL.
Oh,
Anywho.
anyway, but yeah,
um
Junho like confronts her and he's like, "Girl, so
mhm.
I heard some tea from someone that went to your university that
Mhm.
you lying to me and you're living with a long-term boyfriend." And
Mm.
she's like, "Oh no, that's a girl. Like I told you, her name's like Hyun or something."
Yes, so young.
So
That's what she
yeah,
said.
and I forget the name. And he he's like, "Why you lying, bitch? I know you lying." And
Right,
she's like,
because that name.
"Ah."
It's because, of course, her lie was like, "Oh, Songyeon went to Thailand to go get a
To
massage."
get a massage. I was like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" But I thought the initial dinner when she introduced him, I thought that was already to be like, "Hey, this my GBF," you know?
I would have thought so too.
Like
That's what
you
I
didn't
was
recognize the
thinking.
gay from that first interaction?
No, they're not gonna notice that. I
Like Yon isn't
promise.
exactly like straight. I think he's very femme.
They're not gonna get it. I promise you that,
I
100%.
guess.
Because in my experience in Korea, they can't tell who's gay or straight. And to be honest, I couldn't for a while until I kind of figured out some cues. Like a lot of straight
Until
Korean
something isn't
guys.
something.
Well, I didn't have to go that far,
Ooh.
but a lot of straight Korean guys assume, oh, all guys are straight. It's just some are more femme than others, and that's it. Yeah,
Mm.
so it's a very because we also have to remember too, the U.S. is a hyper masculine culture, and they are just
Yeah, and anything that strays from that, and you are bullied and
right,
ostracized,
and
and
they're
yeah.
like it's not the same way because they're like straight guys even wear makeup and that's a very normal thing. Not all of them do, but it's not considered like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you're wearing makeup, that's gay. It's more of like you're wearing makeup because it's a culture where beauty is everything.
You have
Like
to, yeah,
Korean
beauty is
resumes,
everything.
you put your picture on the resume. Like they judge you based on
Yeah,
looks.
you're photoshopped already, like
Right.
photoshopped
So
picture on
you
the
got
your
everybody
face
wearing
tune.
makeup at least for a job interview, like regardless of your gender or gender expression.
Yeah,
So there's no way to tell who is gay or who is straight, but how actually there is, but this is how I figured it out.
oh my god, tell the audience, tell your secrets.
So straight guys in
Mm-hmm.
Korea, they have no issue approaching another guy. None whatsoever. They will come up to you, they'll tell you look good, whatever, they will want to be your friend.
Hey
And it's seen
bro,
as
you look
very
good,
normal.
bro.
Well, they don't come up saying, hey, bro. They're like, oh, I love your clothes. Oh, I love your shirt. Oh, yeah, you have a nice demeanor, blah, blah, blah. But with girls, they're very shy
Mm.
because they don't know how to act around them, especially if
No
it's a girl that they
socialization.
like. Especially if it's a girl that they like. They're going
Mm-hmm.
to kind of sneak around, like drop hints, but then try not to be too direct. But with gay men, it's the same thing, except if it's a girl, they're gonna go up to her and be like, "Hey, sis, how
Hey
you doing?"
queen.
Right.
Hey
But then if
girly.
it's a guy that they're interested in, they're going to pull back and not be as
Mm.
direct. Unless the guy is not Korean, then they'll be direct with that guy, because then they're like, it's not going to say anything to me. That's how I met some of
I see, I
my
see.
gay friends in Korea. was they all just came up to me, not to do.
They said, "Hey,
Yeah,
I want a foreign friend. I want a
right,
I
but
want an
also the
American
straight
friend."
guys also did the same, so that's why I had issues trying to figure out who was who.
You said,
So
"Can the real gay stand up, please?"
yeah, I didn't know until they told me they were. So pretty much that's just the way you got to take it. But now I know. Let's just say my gaydar has been fine tuned. Thank you, Korea, for doing it
Oh
again.
my god.
So
Well, Junho's is not, and
yes.
sadly, Mie had to be like, "No, we're living together,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously we're not together because he's gay."
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think he believed her because he was still crying. Like he was full on crying in
He
that
sure
car,
was.
thinking that this girl's cheating.
Right.
Um, and then Young, like, she like eventually goes back to the apartment and tells Young what happened.
Yes.
And I thought he would be more understanding because I mean, like, this is her boyfriend. Like, I don't know. Like, she obviously cares for this man and doesn't want to let him go,
Right.
and just wants to like tell the situation. But he's just like, "Oh, I knew you weren't loyal." Like, ugh.
I will say he kind of
Like, how dare you?
overreacted, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was like, who
but
would this guy tell? Like, he's just,
yeah, he don't
I
know
don't
you like
know.
that. But also,
Yeah, he don't know you. He met you once.
right. But also, like, I get to an extent
The
because
social like
right,
implications
because
that
you don't know who he
people
knows.
love to gossip. Yeah,
Right. And I mean, it's already evident with the university, people creating rumors that are pretty much not true.
and that will stick
And the
apparently
fact
even
that,
after college or in other spaces. Yeah.
yeah, so of course he's like, well, I'm not sure who else he knows because already this girl went up and told him this rumor about us that's not true. He
Mm-hmm.
could go back to her, but I don't. But I love how Mie was like, he's not like that, you know.
And he
So
said,
and
"How do I know?"
right, because he doesn't know, because I don't know him from Adam, pretty much. Like,
I know.
all I
That's
know is
so
this man is
sad.
fine, and that's it. That's all I know.
Was he fine though? Was he fine? You said he.
I
Oh,
think
we didn't
so.
say. You said he was in a BL. He said he was in Tinted with you.
Yes, he
Was
is.
he the main
He
guy,
was.
or was he the guy that did the
He was
painting?
one of the mains, yes.
No, but he was the guy that time traveled, or the one that was in that period.
He was in that period.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I saw that once, and it wasn't the best show. It wasn't the best
It
KBL.
was
It was very
that
hard
was some
to
that was
understand.
some disjointed storytelling.
It was like 3 episodes, right? It wasn't long.
I think it was like 5, but it was still a mess.
It
It
was a
doesn't matter
mess.
how long it was. It just was disjointed. That's what I remember.
It
I was
was.
like,
They
stuff
tried
is
something.
missing, and you know what? Anyway, let's go back to
Anyway.
this show that's actually good.
Ooh, excuse you, but yeah, Mie and have a whole fight,
Mhm.
and he's like, "I'm leaving," and I'm like, "Where does he go?" Because he like moves out, right?
Right, but I'm assuming he went back to his parents' house, which is
I was like, yeah, it
interesting.
didn't say. I was like, did he live on campus or like where did he go?
Or was he just sleeping on the street? Like, what were
Or
you doing,
maybe he stayed
sir?
with one of his gays because he does still have like that gay squad that we barely see.
Right, right. So that's why I was kind of confused. But then we see him at the club, drinking,
Real
trying to make out
messy.
with men, doing messy AF. So messy.
AF, sloppy drunk.
Sloppy.
The guys are like, "Get off me! You're doing the most."
And then I'm screaming because I can't. He called Namq. Why? But
mean,
I guess
why not? He knows the one man that will take care of him, the one man that loves him like that. And Namju's like, I'm surprised you called. I'm surprised you called me.
a mess.
Yeah. And they're driving in the car, and he's already like, "Oh, you're speeding. Like, oh my God, you're so different now." And I was scared for a second because he wasn't looking at the road.
I
Like,
was
he was like
scared
staring
too,
at him.
and I'm part of me is
And I was like, if you don't look, like they do that in a lot of shows. I'm like, if
Right.
you don't look at the road, like this is taking me out.
and I was trying to
Like,
figure
either
out
something
why
bad's
was he
gonna
so
happen,
reckless. Like, was he changing to be a little less
I think
cautious
so.
to kind of attract Young? You know, like
I think he was. He
it
was trying to
was.
be like, look, I'm different now. You can take me back. That's why he took them to that same lookout spot and was like, oh, let's see if our locket is still there. Like,
Yeah.
the writing's faded. We should like we should we should redo it.
Namkyu really wanted to.
He just wanted to make it work.
Right. And, okay. I love what Young said to him, which is, you deserve someone who is not a coward like me, who couldn't accept his love, and I think that's something we should hold on to because that comes back towards the end of this episode.
Oh, it comes back.
Yeah. But I think there's a little lesson in that, we shouldn't, I think, unless you really are not attracted to the person at all, if someone is pouring their heart into you, I think it's worth a shot,
Yeah, I don't think he gave it a full try. He really was just kind of there like, this guy's taking me out and buying me things, but like, I'm just, doing it for the plot. But like, he didn't really give it a full try.
Yeah, and it's not as if the guy was ugly. And it's not as if the guy was abusive,
But he did
he's
say he
a
was
nice man.
He was just doing too much. He said he was
just doing too much.
He was moving too fast.
All he had to do was tell him, like, okay, I need you to slow this down a little bit because you're doing a lot. Like, these promise rings, like, sir, we've only been dating for like a month. You need to calm down.
You're doing too much.
So, and if he said that, I'm pretty sure Namkyu would have slowed his roll, hopefully, and it would have been okay. He would have
done anything for him, yeah.
He literally would have. He literally would have bent over for him, literally.
Oh!
Literally.
Oh, so he doing the bending.
Literally, no lubrication. I 100%
Oh my
sure.
God.
So
but
then,
right here, we get a time jump.
Yes. So
did you expect this? I was like, why are we jumping around? Like, I'm already kind of confused with like the college.
I think
and
what's
Mie
the
going
name. To me, see, you get confused by time jumps. They don't confuse me that much.
When there's so many in like one episode, I'm like, what year is it? Give me a timestamp. Give me like a holiday in the background so I understand. Because it feels like winter all year round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole show is like they're wearing a coat. So I'm like, what time of year is it? How has time passed?
It's either fall or winter or early spring.
And they're never wearing shorts and like a t-shirt. So I'm like, what's going on?
So I think, 10 months by this point, we can assume that Mie is done with school. She's out of school. Young is probably in his final year of university. And he reaches out to Mie. She misses the call, but she calls back. He tells her that he won a contest because he finished writing the book, which, by the way, we didn't really talk about too much, but she suggested that he should write something,
she was reading his writing. She was like peeping at his diary, and I was like, girl.
Right. And she was like, you're a good writer, you should write this out. And he did. And he ended up he won the contest for his book, Blueberries and Cigarettes, which actually sounds like a great book.
Right? I love the title.
Yes. And it's pretty much a story of their life. A slut and an alcoholic.
That's literally what he said, right? He was like, it was like a slutty gay living with like an alcoholic girl. And I was like, and they won the contest? Gaggy.
Yes.
Gaggy.
And then she told him that she's getting married to Junho.
Which is, again, gaggy.
I was not surprised.
What?
You gagged?
10 months?
I was not.
10 months?
Well, it'd probably have been about a year. And then plus, you get to a certain point. In Korea, you're pressured to get married by the time you're 30.
I know, but they have to be like 22.
Yeah, 22, maybe 23. He might be a little older. Like, Junho might be like 25, 26, And that, to me, was like, okay, yeah, the sooner the better. She finished her degree. She got a job. The next step is to get married and to have children.
I can't.
And get it all done by the time you're 30.
Oh,
That's kind of the pressure. And that doesn't happen with everyone. But, that's kind of the idea that by 30, you are married with kids.
I mean, that's why she was really trying to get her whole life in during her collage days.
Correct.
She's trying to rack up the numbers.
Yeah, she was trying to be Marilyn Monroe before she's Marilyn at home. Okay.
I mean, she said that they're not going to. Oh wait, spoiler for ahead. Not spoiler, just a little bit later. But yeah, she tells him that they made a contract to not have kids And I was like, is that a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a thing?
Well, maybe they don't want
I was like,
kids.
does he really not want a kid? Because some of these men be lying, and 10 years later will be like, I actually do want a kid.
Yeah, I'm curious to why they did that because that wasn't fully explained, but we might find out.
But
So then right after that, we get the
I
shock.
can't.
This is where I was shocked. And
I did not. I did not. Like, me and Steven
I was
paused
not
right before
expecting
this
this.
scene because we were busy doing other stuff, and then we came back to the
Uh-huh.
show, and then already depressing. I was like, this is not where
Yeah, I was shocked.
I was
And
so
he gets that
shocked.
text that Namkyu had passed away.
I
Like
can't.
I was, I think like there's only this is the kind of shock I had is almost the same level,
Not of making days
not
count. Not
close,
of making
but
days count.
almost as. And this is a spoiler for anyone who's never seen this show,
You're not
but
gonna
I'm
spoil
gonna
who
have to
dies in
say
that, but
it.
just
It's I'm just gonna say it's almost the same level as Make Our Days Count. Almost. Not exactly, but that was the kind of shock I had. Like, Make Our Days Count had me shocked and in bed for 3 days. Okay, that had me
yeah.
upset. This
My mouth
was
is open.
like I had a pause for a good 10
I thought he
minutes
was
to
a
process
reoccurring
what happened. I
character.
was like, am I really are they saying this is him?
I don't want to
Like,
believe it.
and of
I don't
course,
wanna
not
believe
until
it.
we get to the funeral and we see the picture, I'm shook.
I was surprised that not that many people were at the funeral home. I was like, did he not have a friend group? Did he not have family?
I don't think he had a
Maybe that's
lot of
why
friends.
he
I
was
think
so hung up on this man.
I think that was part of it. I think he said something about his family in the first episode, and I don't remember what it was. But I think he was an only child. I also think his family lived way outside of Seoul because I think he's from a small town, which explains.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Spain, him driving slow compared to
Yeah. But he was
what
speeding
happened.
and was in an accident, which that broke my heart.
I that crushed me because I felt like I hope Young doesn't think that it's his fault.
He
That
probably
he's
does
the
have
one
a
that
little
told
bit of
this man. Oh
guilt.
my god. Yeah, he's like told this dude that he drives like a grandpa
Right.
and he's like speeding because of me trying to like impress me or trying to
Mm-hmm.
change,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what causes him to.
Yeah, I'm even tearing up a little bit right now because, even though I didn't think, I agree with Young that Namgyu deserved someone better, someone who would love him the way he deserved. It's really sad because he never really got a chance to get that. And he was so deserving of it.
Honestly.
And I think, Young having that realization that he was the one that was too slow. As in, he knows now for sure he was the coward. If he had just stepped up a little bit and vocalized, like, you know what? You need to slow your roll a little bit.
I think it's because
and come down to my pace,
because Namgyu, he was going too fast, but he was at least fast enough to realize that that he can see a future with them together, And Young was too slow to realize that this man really loves you, and that you're throwing it all away because you're telling him to slow down so you can, hoe around some more in college.
Right.
They just were in two different places in their lives.
Right.
But like he's like comparing himself to Mie's situation where she's like getting married right now, and,
right.
Looking towards a bright future with this man, and he is grieving an ex-boyfriend.
And then I guess Mie and Young, they fully reconcile. They help. They're helping. Young is helping Mie pack, getting rid of those Daisy Dukes that she used to wear. And, really, you could tell that the tension was gone, but it was the beginning of the end of an era.
Yeah, an
Once
era.
those
Yeah.
Daisy Dukes flew behind the sofa, that's when, Mia is saying, this is in my past. This is in my rearview mirror. Like, treat it with respect. Because she did say that. Because she doesn't regret that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she had a time, but that era has now passed. You know? Because remember when he said, what did he say to her? He said
During their
something like,
fight.
should I get rid? No, not during their fight.
Oh.
This was when they were
Oh yeah,
packing.
yeah, yeah.
Like when, like, he said something like, do you want me to get rid of these? She literally said, do you still want these? She said, I do want them, but I don't need them, so you can get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's looking forward. She already has a plan ahead. She's not looking back. So you could tell she doesn't regret that time. She enjoyed the time, but that
Mm-hmm.
door has closed,
Yeah, unlike
Um,
Yan over here, who is,
he doesn't know what he wants. He's kind of
yeah,
like in his feelings. Um,
that's what. Yeah, he was
and
a loner before, and then
mm-hmm,
he found his place with her for a little bit, and then once she
mm-hmm,
found the man, he started to feel like a loner again,
mm-hmm.
and now he's kind of not getting left behind. Like she's not leaving him behind, but like he is in a way,
Yeah,
getting left
because
behind.
he's still in that era that
Yeah.
she is leaving,
Mm-hmm.
and he has regrets that she doesn't. Because she doesn't have the regrets anymore because she's doing what she wants to do,
She living it up.
Right.
Yeah, about like he asked her if Junho told her that if she's the love of his life or something,
And
right?
she said yes.
She said, of course. Why
Because,
else would I be marrying him? Yeah.
right. Mm-hmm. And then,
Mm.
we already mentioned how, her and Junho signed a contract to have no kids. Hopefully we find out what's behind that.
Yeah, I was like, is that a prenup? Is that part of
Yeah,
a
it
prenup
sounds
or
like a
something?
prenup
Like,
to me. So that's what I was
right?
thinking.
I mean, he said, oh, like if anything happens, you could always come home to me. And I was like, oh, they're such a married couple, too.
Right. But
they're,
also
they're
like,
such a lavender wedding waiting to
right.
happen, a lavender marriage waiting to
Mm-hmm.
happen.
And then, of course, Young is really thinking about if he will find eternal love. And we're going to hold on to that.
Mm-hmm. We're
Um,
gonna hold on to
and
that.
he sings at her wedding horribly. They sing together, which is really cute, and I think Junho could see that, oh, these two really have a bond that he's never going to have with his wife, but he's going to have a bond with
I
his wife,
know, right? I was like, I hope he noticed that because like they're singing this song. At first, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, is this a song that Namgi was singing at the karaoke? But I don't think
And
so,
no, I
right?
don't think so either.
I don't think it's. I at first I thought it was that song, and he's like doing like a, like a tribute to him for a
Mm-hmm.
second. But no, it turned into like this like karaoke song that these two sing together.
Yes.
And it's literally about like I love you back to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like solidifying their love for each other. It's just like true
Mm-hmm.
friendship, and I was like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yes, with
And
his
all
messy
these
gay
old ladies,
friends
yeah, the
being
Mexican
a
gay friends
mess at this
hyping them
wedding.
up.
Right.
I mean, everyone was like, "Find the note, buddy. Find the note." It
Right.
started off crunchy,
And it
but
got crunchier.
but she saved it. But she saved it.
Yes, she
I mean, that
did.
made it more wholesome because it was given stiff. Like her,
Yes.
even her wedding dress, I was like, "This is so traditional." I was like, "Oh my god."
Yes.
She's like not showing
Yes.
skin. Like she
Mm-mm.
don't even got her bob down. Like
No. Very typical. Like everything about that was a very standard Korean wedding. Everything about it. Very standard.
have you been to a Korean wedding?
Especially since it was literally last year that I was at a
Yeah,
wedding
I was
in
about to
Korea. And almost everything like this wedding,
Mhm.
it was almost mimicked it, with the exception of the singing that was there was not bad.
Ooh, ooh.
So, but I think what's most important is when he got home after the wedding.
And he had to sit there
And
and
you
his
probably noticed
yeah.
on the desk was that promise ring from
I
Namkyu.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was like looking
And
at the fridge with the blueberries that were left over. He was looking
there
at.
were only 2 blueberries
He was like
left.
trying out cigarettes. Because he was like, how did Mie smoke these? Like, I can't do this. I don't know. And then
Yeah, I think that was not in that part.
oh
That
yeah,
was earlier.
that was
in the
maybe
show.
that was earlier, but maybe that was
that
while
was
she
like
was away.
when she first started. When she was away at her training camp. But in this time, it was just the 2 blueberries that were left,
and the promise ring.
and the promise ring, and that's when he realized, like, man, I low key fucked up.
He really did. Like, he could have been just as
Yeah.
happy. Maybe not full marriage wise. You don't got to go all the way, but like you can be just as happy in a moving forward type of.
And he probably would have been with Namkyu, but he's like, now that door has closed because Namkyu is dead. And, yeah. So I think he really realized, like, I could have done better, But the good thing is he has a place.
Yeah, he took over the lease, right?
He took over the lease. And we'll see what's going to happen. Is he going to continue being a hoe? Or I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we this episode like didn't end on any kind of cliffhanger or anything. It just kind of closed a chapter. This show is already like, I'm like, where's this show? This show has me on a whole roller coaster ride of like, where are we going?
Yes.
Whose story it is. Like, you think it's Go-Yeon's story, but like then you see Mie's. Like, this is a heavy Mie episode. I think the title of the episode was Mie.
Mie, yes. It literally was.
I don't know, the show, like, I thought Namgyu was going to be like a recurring, like, silly background ets to be like, I love you. Oh my God, come back.
I was really hoping for that. And instead
he turned into a wake-up call.
Because, you know what? This is... Right. And you know what makes the show so great already? They could have gone the route of having him be this reoccurring background character that just pops up every now and then with either the text message or showing up at his house, but I think killing him off, we got attached to him already, right? Because it's like we found him a little bit annoying, but we found him endearing at the same time, and that was very intentional because his loss wouldn't have hurt as much if he was just plain annoying and like a trash person. You could tell he was actually a really good guy who was just needed to calm down just a little bit,
the good one got away, but like fully got away because he's passed.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, sometimes you don't realize these things until it's too late. And it is getting late. So that is it for this episode. This mini bonus episode of RyCanTopMyKnee. Be safe and catch love before it is too late.
And I hope the Mie in your life loves your knee. We kept it wholesome.
See, we know how to be classy sometimes. We know how to do it. We'll leave trashy for another episode. Anyway, next week. Alrighty, bye y'all.